Japanese restaurants say they're not charging tourists extra, they're charging locals less. Police are in search for a man with the word evil tattooed all across his face. And a tourist in Death Valley nearly burns his feet off after losing flip-flops. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News for Thursday. Weird AF News is the only daily weird news podcast in the galaxy. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Just remember it's weird news and it'll be all right. Beep. Japanese restaurants say they're not charging the tourists more, they're charging the locals less. Kudos to you if you could speak perfect Japanese and order some food at a neighborhood sushi bar in Tokyo. Ooh, I have been to a neighborhood sushi bar in Tokyo. And let me tell you something. A good old time was had. Good times were had. Oh, I spent a fortnight in Tokyo, yes. Dumpling houses like you read about, little tiny bars. What was the little tiny bar neighborhood? Golden Guy. If you've never been to Golden Guy, it's a must visit. The article says if you can speak perfect Japanese, chances are that on your next trip to Japan, you may be able to score a better deal by blending in as one of the locals. Yeah, but what if you have a white face? What if you look Caucasian? What if you're white? What if you look like a Westerner? Even if you can speak Japanese, they might charge you more because you look like a tourist. Let's keep reading and find out, though. And my first thought is I'm not really against this, to be honest with you. There are certain cities will charge. Not that they'll charge extra, but they'll give the locals a discount. When I lived in New York City, I could go to any museum in Manhattan if I just showed them that I was a resident of Manhattan for either a discount or for free. They do this in Hawaii as well. They do it in Chicago. Japan has never been a destination known for hiking up prices for foreigners, they say, but over-tourism, fueled by a combination of some pent-up post-COVID demands and the weak local currency, has recently prompted restaurants in the country to consider the merits of differential pricing. Cut to this interview with Shogo Yonamitsu, who runs Tamatake Bako. Tamate Bako. Tamate? It's all-you-can-eat... I didn't say it right. It's all-you-can-eat seafood grill in Shibuya. I could say Shibuya. Been there. Been to the crossing. Here's a quote from Shogo. People say this is discrimination, but it is really hard for us to go serve foreigners. It is beyond our capacity. Shogo maintains that he doesn't charge tourists extra. Instead, he offers a 1,000 yen discount to the locals. He says, we need this pricing system for cost reasons. Okay, I hear you, Shogo, but I'd like to know exactly why and how is it more costly to serve foreigners? I mean, it's not like you have to hire a translator. We have the device. Our phones can do the translation. I used Google Lens my entire time. I didn't even need an English menu. I could just put the lens over a menu in a different language. It translated to me what it said, and then I would just point at that. It was so easy when I was traveling in Asia. So what are these extra costs, I'm wondering? All right, I scrolled down and found another owner of a seafood grill says he had to hire additional English-speaking staff to take orders, handle bookings, and explain to tourists everything from how to tell the difference between sashimi and grilled food items to where to put their luggage, and that failing to do so results in mayhem. Come on, man. You got to explain the difference between sashimi and cooked food? Who doesn't know that? I find this to be a little bit of an exaggeration. Oh, it's so hard to point to where to put luggage. And you don't need English-speaking staff. Listen, I was just over there. I didn't encounter any English-speaking staff when I was traveling Asia. And with the device in your hand, with your smartphone, you don't need to provide an English-speaking translator. You don't even need to provide a menu in English. This all can be done through a phone. It's so easy. Anyways, I'm just questioning these costs. And not that I'm totally against you charging more for the tourists. I mean, I kind of expect to be charged more, but covertly. You know, when I go over there, I know they're going to sneak in some stuff. You know, you take a cab or something, and it's not via Uber, an app or something. You take like a local cab. You don't really speak the language. You try to negotiate. I know I'm going to get screwed a little bit, and that's okay with me. I expect that. This is completely overt, where you're just like, you know what, tourists? Here's your price. You don't speak Japanese? This is your price. But like I said, they do this at other places, so it's like... But don't give me excuses like, we got to hire English-speaking staff. No, you don't. No, you don't. Oh, we got to get them MLB package to make sure that there's a baseball on TV for them from America. Yeah. Says here, while it's a new phenomenon in Japan relatively, differential pricing is quite common in other parts of the world. As the less expensive resident prices are often written in the local language, foreign tourists may not even know that they paid more. In Japan, it's up to every business to decide for themselves if they want to implement this two-tiered pricing system. That's not always the case elsewhere, as governments can actually step in. In Venice, for example, officials introduced a fee to enter the Italian city and an online reservation system to cope with over-tourism. Some of these places are just having over-tourism, and they're not pleased with it. In Spain right now, there's protests against the tourists. Some people don't want that either. So, these are little devices that you can use to curb tourism if you feel as though you need to do that. I'm not sure they feel they need to do that in Japan. Maybe. I know the Japanese population is sinking like a stone. I know that. You might want to open your doors and be a little bit more, welcoming to outsiders over there. Yeah, just, hey, come on over. You guys want to make some babies over here? We're losing people, man. I think Japan had the lowest drop-off of people. It was like almost 900,000 people from last year to this year, something like that. Oh, I forgot to mention this earlier when I mentioned Golden Guy. I have seen little bars in Golden Guy that actually say no tourists. So some of those bars, they don't even allow tourists in. Just trying to give you a little flavor of the Japan attitude towards the old tourists. Here's what I definitely support is charging influencers twice whatever anything costs. Anyone on board with that? Call the show, 646-450-2012. Police are searching for a man with the word evil tattooed across his face. Looking at it, yes, big evil across, takes up most of his face. This is quite a commitment to evil. Wow. I'm guessing he doesn't have custody of his kids and some trouble dating. Probably picks first in dodgeball, though, is my guess. This particular story is out of Australia. A manhunt is underway in West Auckland for a man with the word evil tattooed across his face. Shouldn't be too hard to find, huh? This guy who made this terrible decision to put evil on his face. Police wanted help from the public to find this guy, Regan McKinley, age 34, who they said was considered dangerous. Why would you consider him dangerous? Sir, are you evil? What makes you think that? Why would you think I'm evil? Police say McKinley shouldn't be approached. And anyone who has seen him or had information on his whereabouts should contact them immediately, anonymously. Yeah, you want to contact them anonymously because this sounds like the kind of man that if he finds out that you ratted on him, ooh, you're going to get it. He is evil after all. All right, looks like that's the end of the article. You're not giving me much here on our evildoer. What did he do that you want him? I mean, is it just because he's got the evil tat across his both cheeks and the bridge of his nose that you want to get this guy under wraps here? You probably are anticipating that he's about to do something illegal, and I can't say that I blame you on that, although that's called profiling, I believe, and you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to prejudge, even though he's got evil tattooed across his face. Might be a good guy after all, Regan McKinley. I don't know. Maybe he just loves a good Magic the Gathering tournament on the weekends. How, with some lemonade on the side. I don't even want to say up front that this guy chose to have evil tattooed on his face. For all we know, this could be one of those pranks that his friends pulled on him when he passed out at the party. You know, when they like to draw things on your face, like those little penises and whatnot, and maybe write something. Maybe he just passed out and they did evil on his face. Now, the poor guy's his dating life. Can you imagine his dating life? How are you going to get a date when you got evil across the bridge of your nose? Although I think some people enjoy that. A lot of people love that, actually. I'm sure there's some face tat fetish dating apps. What? I don't know. By the way, if you're looking for this guy, make sure it says evil on his face, okay? Don't be bringing in a guy that just says terrible across his face. Is this the guy you're looking for? No, sir. This guy has bad tattooed across his face. We're looking for a guy that has evil tattooed across his face. How about this one right here? I found this guy hanging out at a school. No, that says nefarious on his forehead. We're looking for a guy that says evil across the center of his face. This is nefarious on the top half of his head. No, we're not looking for him. You can let him go back to the schoolyard. Oh, I digged in. I found another article. It turns out this Mr. McKinley is wanted for breaching his court release conditions. So whatever those conditions were, they probably were. He had to show up at some place. I mean, you don't want to be escaping custody or conditions or parole when you got this across your face, because this isn't exactly undercover, But the kind of guy who puts evil across his face, he doesn't care about such things. He doesn't even care about job prospects. I mean, because what kind of job are you going to get with evil tattooed across your face? Once a year, you can get a job at the Halloween haunted maze, and that's about it, I think.
Let's rock.
A Death Valley tourist suffers third-degree burns on his feet after losing his flip-flops on the dunes of Death Valley. Perhaps we should consider naming this area something scary so that people will be more cautious when they go there to Death Valley. Maybe we should call it definitely Death Valley, extra Death Valley, super Death Valley, or like seriously, it's Death Valley. Or maybe like F you up Valley, or get the F out of this valley. You could die in the valley. You know how to keep people away from a place? Just name it like a Valley of no cell phone service, and then people will not go. That's for sure. All right, here are the details. We have here a Belgian tourist. That's always someone from Europe. They don't have a desert in Europe, so they all want to check it out. They are not prepared for the desert. I'm going to wear flip-flops in the desert. Yes, that's right. I've brought my flip-flops. I was wondering if I could just, traipse around the desert a little bit in my flip-flops. Ooh, they're not held together by much, are they? Oh, I seem to have snapped one off. Oh, I'm burning, but it's nice. Take a selfie while I'm burning. We have here a Belgian tourist that suffered third-degree burns on his feet. Third degree, I think that's pretty bad. It's probably hospitalization material. This was during a visit to Death Valley National Park over the weekend. According to the National Park Service, the 42-year-old Belgian man was taking a walk on the sand dunes when he lost his flip-flops. Again, flip-flops on the sand dunes. What the heck, man? The air temperature at the time, according to the officials, was 123 degrees. The ground temperature would have been much hotter, of course. Can you imagine the temperature of the sand in Death Valley when it's 123 degrees? I mean, I can't even handle the sand at the beaches off the coast of California here when it's, 93 degrees. The sand is crazy hot. Out there, I love this Belgian guy. You got all these tourists out there. They don't know what they're doing. Yes, I'm going to take my flip-flops off so I can get and feel the sand between my toes. So I'd love to feel the sand between my toes. Oh, goodness gracious. Holy heff of ice in my flip-flops. Rogan, I can't feel my feet! A Death Valley park ranger told the media that the ground temperature can reach 170 to 180 degrees this time of year and has even been known to get as high as 200 degrees. According to park ranger Gia Ponce, she says, the skin was melted off that man's foot. The man's family called for help, and other park visitors came to his aid to carry him to the nearby parking lot to await paramedics. I assume to put the skin back on his feet. Officials said he suffered full thickness burns on his feet. I don't know what that is. Full thickness? I guess that means it went right to the bone. Burn to the bone. Burn to the bone. Burn. Burn. I'm burned to the bone. I wear flip-flops, and now I'm burned to the bone. He suffered full thickness burns on his feet and was in significant pain, but due to the extreme heat in the area, a helicopter was unable to fly and safely land in the area. Imagine that. It's so hot, the helicopter can't land on the ground. What is that? It was so hot, the ground had turned into molten lava, so the helicopter couldn't land because then it would just sink into the molten lava. That's what I think happened. Instead, is anyone familiar with helicopters and why they can't land on a hot ground? I'd love to know. Can't you just tie some bags of ice to the runners? Now land on. No, Jonesy, it's gonna melt. Okay, instead of the helicopter rescue, a ground ambulance rushed the man to a higher elevation where temperatures were slightly cooler, around 109 degrees. We're gonna take you and get you some relief, sir. How about a cool, crisp 109? Oh, thanks. This feels much better. which this allowed a helicopter to land safely at the 109. Helicopter can't land at 123 degrees, but can land at 109 and then fly him to a Las Vegas hospital. Officials urge visitors to take necessary precautions when exploring Death Valley, which is the driest, lowest, and hottest of all the nation's parks. And, well, lo and behold, if you're going to a place called Death Valley, probably want to prepare yourself. It's called Death Valley. It's going to be a little bit sinister, that environment, So prepare yourself. You're going to go out there and you burn, and now you're surprised? You're surprised that you're burned in Death Valley? Ooh, it reminds me of that time I went to Punch My Balls Lake, New Hampshire. Someone punched me in the balls. Can't believe it.
I was caught in the middle of a railroad track. Weird news. I looked around, and I knew there was no turning back. Weird news. Yeah, baby. We're leading it with AC/DC, this outro. That's how we do it on Weird AF News. I had some requests to sing a little more, but I don't want to subject you to all of that. Just a little bit. Just sprinkle it a little in. It's like salt. It's like salt in the dish. A little bit's just right. Too much, you ruin it. Anyway, at least with a voice like mine, anyways. Hey, how you guys doing? Anyways, listen up. It's Thursday, so tomorrow's Florida Friday, so send me Florida stories that you think might be appropriate for the show. Please make them recent. My email is funnyjones@gmail.com. You can also slide them into my DMs on Instagram @funnyjones as well. Doing shows in the SoCal area this weekend, tonight. I'm in Burbank tomorrow night, Long Beach Laugh Factory. So Friday night, Long Beach Laugh Factory, 10 p.m. show. Send me a message if you would like to get on the guest list. Please do so by noon on Friday if you could. I would appreciate that. funnyjones@gmail.com. Love to see you. And come on out, baby. Come on out. Okay, what else? I guess I should give you an update. The roofing's almost over. Today, very quiet, so that's been lovely. Michael from Iowa City dropped me a private note mentioning that my podcast didn't sound so good on his Alexa or his smart speakers anyway, so I just wanted to let you guys know I've been testing this, and on most platforms it seems to sound good. I've asked a couple other people, say the podcast sounds pretty good as it did before. So I'm just wondering, maybe it's just Alexa people are having. So I'm just putting it out there. Anyone else listen on Alexa or some home device and you've noticed a change in the quality of the podcast in the last couple weeks? I'd imagine on those home speakers, it's not going to sound great anyways, because those speakers they're not high quality, are they? I don't think they are. I mean, the best way to listen to the show is Spotify in your headphones, or Spotify in your car while you're driving. Spotify it to like a quality Bluetooth speaker. Now we're rocking. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing. Anyways, it sounds great on Spotify. Sounds great on YouTube. Sounds great on Apple Podcasts. These are the ones I've checked out. Maybe you guys listen on some other platform that I'm not privy to. Please just let me know, because I did make a change in the way I'm recording the show, because Spotify's podcasting platform no longer permits me to record through their app or their desktop website. So I've had to use a third-party recording software, but it's a very good quality software. It comes highly rated. It's called Audacity. Many podcasters use Audacity. You can look it up. It's like Audacity's got so many stars. So many stars, man. Anyways, it's a very easy program to use, by the way. If any of you are thinking of starting a podcast, I know I used to advertise Spotify for podcasters to create a podcast. Now I would tell you, use Audacity. It's completely free, open source. It's very easy to use. It's available on... not on your phone, unfortunately. So it's not available on mobile, but on either a Mac or a PC. This program is great. It's great. So that's what I'm using. I think it all sounds great, but you let me know. Anyways, I'm rambling on about that, and I shouldn't. Okay, so listen, I'm going to let you all go. I left the phone number. You got the email. If you want to support the show for any reason, just go to the website, weirdafnews.com, and you can join the Patreon or buy me a coffee. Keep me fueled. Anyways, I love y'all, and good luck with your life, man. No sleep till!